Do you have what it takes to be a street parking vault finisher?
For the past 6 months, the street parking members have been participating in a 1 workout a week for 25 weeks series. The new workout is released every Friday, and they have until the following Thursday to log their results.
The street parking vault is a challenge that isn't about the leaderboard or a competition. It's about building consistency. Scores do not matter, and you are encouraged to do any variation of the workout that works for you. You just cannot miss.
Over 5,000 street parking members have completed the first 25 workouts in round 1 this year, and the workouts are about to reset. Round 2 starts July 2nd.
Now, new members have their chance to show their commitment and jump in time to complete all 25 workouts.
All of these workouts can be done with just a pair of dumbbells and have options for any fitness level. Now, of course, if you have more equipment, you're gonna get variations of the workout that work for that too.
Now, these workouts are simple, but they are not easy, and you have to be committed to finishing all 25.
Are you in? All right, here we are, the Coaches Roundtable, Street Parking Coaches Roundtable, Moms Edition. We've got, I think I'm the only one that's like a regular roundtable participant today. And we've got Street Parking Moms Coach Carolina with us, Head of Street Parking Nutrition Molly with us, and the mom of all Street Parking moms, Kim, who works here with us in the office as well. What episode number is this, Salvi? 18. And we had a dad's edition a couple months ago and thought, well, Molly's going to be in town. We have a handful of moms in the street parking community, and we thought, why not give them their own episode also? So here we are. We are here to answer all of your questions that you might have about all things street parking when it comes to being a mom. So that could be pregnancy questions, postpartum questions, trying to get in fitness with little kids, big kids, and everything like that. And before we get too deep into it and start answering the questions that we've received from Facebook and Instagram and just from the members, we want to encourage you guys that are watching live to make sure and ask questions. We will prioritize the live questions over the questions that Nicole has prepared for us back there. And we're going to introduce ourselves really quickly. So I already said what your job titles are basically, but how many children you have and how old they are might be relevant so that when we're answering the questions, people know kind of our point of view and where we're coming from. And the child's name would be nice too. Go ahead, Carolina.
Cool. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Carolina Stone, and my baby is Callie Wolf, and she is going to be 2 in October. My only one.
She's so cute. Okay, I have 2 children. Knox is going to be turning 4 on August 1st. And Banner is 13 months. He just turned 1 a month ago. Actually, he's almost 14 months now. And 2 little boys, just rambunctious as ever and awesome.
I have 2 kids. So I have Maxwell. He'll actually be 3 in July. And then I have my baby Indy. She is 8 months old.
And I got the older kids.
Yeah.
So I have 3 boys, Eli, Caleb, and Seth, and they are 16, 13, and 10. So my baby is 10.
Just like full men over there. Just got a house
Yes.
of men.
Man, child, across the board with all of them.
I got to say, Kim is definitely mom goals for me in how well behaved and just awesome your kids are. Like that is like big time goals. I don't know how it's possible to get to that point and not screw up your kids in some way.
Oh, they're
screwed
up.
So I was really, all kids are screwed up at some point, right? But it was really important for me for us to have Kim on here because, our perspective is of babies basically still in most cases. I mean, Knox is a little bit older, but Kim is such a wealth of knowledge because she's been through many more stages than we have, and she's in a completely different stage than we are in now. So
You're going into like the next phase, the real life phase.
Yeah, I mean, my oldest reminded me that next year he's going to be an adult, technically. So,
we had a conversation like a month or so ago where I was like crying, being like, Kim, I want to make sure you spend enough time with your kids. They're going to be gone soon.
It was great. And yes, that definitely hits in a different way than what you guys are going through on your side.
So All right, Nicole, I think has some rapid fire questions to kick things off, and we'll kind of go from there.
How many siblings do each of you guys have?
Oof, we'll just keep going down this way. Carolina.
I have. Oh, sorry. First time. I have 3 sisters and 1 brother.
I have 4 brothers and 1 sister.
I have 3 sisters and 1 brother.
I got a brother and a sister.
Right on. So no only children.
Nope.
Okay, so were you? Let's start with Carolina. Were you a good kid or were you mischievous?
Ooh,
Oh, great question.
Jeb's back here with a grin on his face.
I was a well-behaved, like on the outside, but I was trouble. Big time, in the biggest ways.
Are we all answering
Yeah,
this?
let's answer.
I was an angel, to be honest. I was a great student. I didn't really get in trouble at all. I didn't cause any sort of problems whatsoever until I was like in college, and those were still pretty minor.
I'm the youngest. I'm the baby of 5. So I definitely have baby tendencies, but I don't think I was a bad child. I followed up my chaotic sister, and my mom just said she had nothing left, so I had to be good.
I'd probably go with the Carolina type of answer. I was a good kid. I mean, rule follower in the way of like not getting in trouble at school, but I was also and still am very independent. So in terms of what that was like for my parents, meant I was a very strong-willed.
Very strong-willed.
I do what I want to do as a youth and teen and
And
so
an adult.
on. Oh wait,
I'm just like waiting for my mom to pop up in the YouTube comments and like refute what I just said.
She's not here yet. Don't worry.
Okay. She probably is trying to figure out how to comment on YouTube as we speak.
Of the 4 of you, who had the longest labor?
My labor with Knox was 14 hours.
I think mine was like 19 or 20 hours.
What are we counting as labor? Like,
When your contractions were like you knew you were in labor. Your first one was weird,
my first one was weird, and Indy was induced, so
so you don't win this
Don't win.
category. Oh.
I might take it. I might take it with my second because we went to the hospital on Saturday and he was born on Tuesday morning.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But Tuesday
Oh
like
my God.
midnight, like
Wow.
12:10.
oh yeah.
It was very long.
Kim was angry.
Yikes.
I was.
On the same kind of note, who had the biggest baby?
I did. Miss Indy just coming in with a solid 9 pounds 1 ounce. I mean, I'm not a small human, so we weren't shocked by this baby being big.
Some women love being pregnant, others not so much. Which are you guys?
Carolina?
No, not so much. Man, I really thought I would, and I really wanted to. And looking back on it now, there are parts of it that I do miss and like look back on like with love, but no.
I really thought of any of us on this panel that would have loved being pregnant. I would have definitely voted Carolina for the most likely to enjoy being pregnant.
Yeah, me too.
I definitely enjoyed it more the second time around. I think because I was just more confident in it and knew what to expect. But I wouldn't say that it's something that I enjoy thoroughly. The only thing that I really enjoy about being pregnant is when the baby moves and kicks. I do love that. Like, I love it so much. But the rest of it, not so much. I actually enjoy being pregnant than more as far as how my body feels than the immediate postpartum, though. And I think that's something that people aren't usually prepared for. They think as soon as the baby comes out, then they're going to start feeling more normal. And I've never felt less like myself than like the first few weeks after.
Yeah, I'd have to piggyback off Miranda in it being a little bit better the second time, just because you go through it and you realize you get your amazing child and baby, and you get to experience that, so you know what's coming. But I'm extremely fortunate to have been pregnant and, no serious complications and things like that. But as far as loving it, it definitely just wasn't my favorite thing. But you get through it.
Exactly. That's what I would say. Like my third one, I finally was the most relaxed, I think, is really what it was. So probably some of that is knowing what to expect, knowing why certain things were happening, or even being able to not compare in a bad way, but be like, oh, good, I'm so glad leg cramps aren't happening with this one that were happening in other ones. So I didn't necessarily dislike it, but I didn't also love it. But I would agree that the movement part is one of those things where you just look back and go, that was really special, but not being pregnant being special.
Carolina, you said you were mischievous. What is your first, oh my goodness, I'm in so much trouble childhood memory?
Oh, wow. Okay. This is a big one.
Oh.
I don't even know if I should say this.
Now we're in deep.
Uh-oh. Now I have.
It's too late now.
I've shared it on the members Facebook group before. It's messed up. So, I have a younger brother, 4 years younger than me, and my sisters and I, my sisters lived with my dad. I lived with my mom, and I made up a story that I had a twin sister that lived with my dad, and I convinced my brother that I had a twin sister. So I would go in my room and like change everything and then come out and pretend that I was my twin sister. And I'd be like, don't tell Mom. Carolina had to go to California.
Wait, what was your twin's name?
Elizabeth.
How long did this go on
It
for?
went on for a very long time.
Like a year?
Like years.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
How does he feel about this now?
Oh, I mean,
He's talked to a therapist about this.
Yes, for sure. I have put him through the ringer in so many ways, but that was just like really the beginning of it.
We should play that joke on Jeb.
Sorry.
Sorry,
I'm
that's
sorry.
hilarious. Who has good sleepers? Good sleepers, bad sleepers? What is your experience?
I'm just gonna
with
put my
sleeping?
microphone down.
I will say I have two now very good sleepers. Max was just born a good sleeper. There was nothing magical I did, or there's no magic sleep sack or anything. He just came into the world a good sleeper. Indy is a little work in progress, but she's great now. So I have, I'd say, two sleepers. I mean, you're teenagers now, so they probably sleep till noon.
I wish.
Oh, no?
Sometimes no.
Oh, yeah, early
No.
risers.
They are early risers. Two of my three were good sleepers, but the one that was not was challenging till probably about age 5. So it balanced out. The two that were great, and the one that was not, I mean, it was rough. Those were rough years.
Well, you said Banner is officially a better sleeper than Knox, right?
Banner is right now at 1 year old a better sleeper than Knox is at 4 years old. And Knox has, I bet we could count on like all 4 of our hands, so 20 times where Knox has slept through the night in 4 years. So that's where we're at our house.
Callie, I guess you could say she was maybe not a good sleeper. Well, no, you could definitely say that. She was not a good sleeper. But I also just really struggled with like figuring that out and figuring out how to deal with it and manage it. So we struggled hard for like 18 months, actually almost exactly 18 months. And it was dark. And then we actually hired a sleep coach from the street parking community. She's a wonderful, just a saint. And she helped us. And within a week, Callie was sleeping like a dream. And we're all much happier.
But I think you probably had to get to that point with Callie, right? Where like you were willing to like have that person come in and help you and navigate that for you. But I think you have to get to that point because everyone's like, oh, this sleep thing works best for my kid, and like, oh, and I put do the bottle at this time. Like it's just different for every kid. But I think you personally have to get to the point where you're willing to like take that next step. Like nobody can push you to that.
Yeah, it was definitely Jeb and I together. I think him really seeing like how much it was affecting me, it was affecting him. It was just like, it was a lot. And we had tried all of the things, and we had found a way that was like kind of working for a while, and then it wasn't. And then we tried all of the things. I was on Amazon ordering like this sleep sack and that swaddle and this sound machine.
I wonder how many moms purchase that stuff at 1 to 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my
just
gosh.
send me all the devices.
Oh yeah. And like, we just reached a point where we're like, I need help. So we got it.
On the subject of sleep, we have a mom to land V asks, she's a full-time working mama of 2 whose 2-year-old still doesn't sleep all night and she needs 8 hours herself. Do you have any fitness or nutrition time-saving hacks? And what do you do when you have to choose between sleep or working out?
That was a lot of questions in one question. So her first question was to go through one question at a time.
Okay. She's a full-time working mother of 2. She also really needs some sleep. And she wants to know if you have any fitness/nutrition time-saving hacks.
I mean, we have a website full of fitness and nutrition time-saving hacks. I feel like
I mean, I could do the nutrition one.
Okay,
so
go for it.
I mean, the nutrition one, and this is one that we talk a lot about in the community, and something that's super simple is having bulk prep options in your fridge. And a lot of people aren't really big on it because they think the meals are boring. However, they are simple and it lowers the barrier to entry. So when you have those things that are available for you to pull in your fridge when the kids are going crazy and you don't have time to build a meal, having those things in the fridge, like a couple bulk options of protein, some easy vegetables that are cooked, or like a bag of greens and a couple, maybe some fruit, easy bulk options. And we have a really great newsletter on members only for this, on how to put those things together. But you have to have simple options in the fridge that you can just kind of throw together, and kind of let go of extravagant recipes or trying to cook in that way. Like breakfast options, try to let go of what your traditional breakfast is and just eat anything for breakfast. Have some easy snack options like nuts or deli meat or yogurts or, again, fruit, things like that you can just grab when you're busy with the kids or busy with work or whatever you're doing.
even like making like a smoothie or something that
Yeah.
you can be like sipping on while you're doing all the kid stuff is super helpful. I think with the time-saving fitness, I mean, that's kind of what we do around here. And I think the biggest thing that you need to completely just let go of when you become a parent, whether that's a mom or a dad, or even just somebody who's busy, is what you think, how much time you think you need, and where you need to be. Like, you don't need to be in your garage. You can do fitness in the living room while your kid's playing, or what I've seen so many street parking moms do shift in the bathroom while their kid's in the bathtub. We posted a video of Molly today doing her like weighted squats with Indy in the baby carrier, more than nothing. So you just have to let go of like, oh, I need an hour. I need to be by myself. I need to be in the garage. And of course, like if you get those opportunities, that's awesome, and take it, because it's so nice to have that. But I think having the expectation that you need that, and I would even say, and maybe some people would disagree with me on this, but saying I need 8 hours of sleep, that kind of mentality is what gave me anxiety for a full year after Knox was born. Because when I was competing and before I was a parent, I would sleep 9-10 hours. Like, sleep was very important to me. I'm a big sleeper. And like I just mentioned, like, I don't think I've gotten a straight 6 hours of sleep more than like 20-30 times in 4 years. And so if I were to be like, oh, well, I'm only going to work out if I get my proper sleep, then I wouldn't have worked out in 4 years. And I think obviously we want to maximize sleep as much as we can and get our kids to sleep as best as we can, and not stay up like I sometimes do watching Netflix at night when I should just actually go to bed. You know what I mean? But feeling like the situation needs to be perfect for you to get your fitness in or your nutrition is just setting you up to be stressed out and anxious all the time about it.
We have a question here from Jen Ann. She says, what is the most helpful or best thing your partner did for you during pregnancy or in the 4th trimester? Brag away.
Oh, food. Just keeping me fed. Yeah, I mean, Jeb's been cooking for us for a few years now, pretty solidly, so that I wouldn't get hangry, so that I could stay healthy, so that I could sleep a little extra, so that I could, all of the things. So that was massively helpful.
Kim, do you remember?
I do. I was going to say, one of the things that I would say I appreciate the most about my husband is it's never been like that he takes it that he's babysitting. So the approach of really seeing like, I am an equal in this. And so whatever it is that you need, or our kids need, like, I'm here to support that, but it's not like, oh, you're the main person to do all of the things and just tell me what to do and make me a list or something like that, like you would as if they were a babysitter. So whether it was for me, like he'll totally take care of like stuff around the house and appreciates, just being able to, he'll go through a room and just like clean things up, and just he knows what that means to me of having like calm and space and all of that. But from the get-go, even when they were babies, like he would wear the boys all the time, and he would take the responsibility for feeding, and just like he really saw it as an opportunity for him to nurture and love and be that voice for them to get to know him immediately. And so I just really appreciate the role of I'm not here as a babysitter. And I think that there's times where partners can go into like a little bit of a, oh, you're the mom, you know the things, and I don't know them. And we all don't know them.
No
till
one
we're
knows
doing
them.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
When you're feeling overwhelmed with kids' tantrums and everyone needs something from you, how do you take a step back before losing your stuff?
I'll let Molly is alone with her kids more than the rest of us. So I'll let her answer this one.
I think the important thing to know is that I am very guilty of losing my shit on my kids. So I never want to portray this like I am perfect and I am like so zen, because like I lose it as well. I think it's like important to like, I mean, the tough part for me is sometimes I'm navigating both children alone. So it's kind of like, for instance, last night I like had both of the children in the bath and they were just like completely melting down. Like Indy's just screaming in her little chair in the tub, and Max is throwing a tantrum, doesn't want to get out. Right. So first of all, it's going to vary depending on your kids. Like what works well for your child might set, my child off. So I think it's just kind of about what helps me is like taking a step back, taking a deep breath, and then like seeing what I can give to them and level with them. So what helps me is I just get down on Max's level and I ask him like, what are you angry about? What's wrong? And like, I try to talk through it as much as I can. Sometimes it goes well. Sometimes it makes him worse. And I just give him the space to kind of like let him have it, let him have his tantrum. And then we try it again. And again, I'm not perfect all the time. There's times where I've yelled and been really frustrated. And then there's times where I'm like, okay, he's clearly having feelings and he's a toddler. He doesn't know how to process them. He doesn't know what to do. He's feeling these big emotions, and that's why he's reacting in this way. So I find getting on his level and recognizing the emotions he's feeling. I see you're angry. Like, are you angry because I took, because Indy took your yellow toy? Like, okay, let's get you a new toy, and then try to like bring something in the middle and try to distract him a little bit to make him feel better. But I think recognizing sometimes the emotions that he's feeling definitely helps. And sometimes it's hard because with the two and being single parent at times, because my husband's a captain at a fire department, I have to prioritize the feelings. So sometimes it's like, okay, Indy, you're going to scream for a second while I like calm Max down to get him out of the bath. So you have to prioritize and triage the situation as best as you can.
We've actually found, because we're like in the opposite situation, Julian and I are always together. And like, I'm very, very rarely alone with my kids, which is weird, but we're just always together as a family. We have found that it gets worse if both of us are there. When one of us is alone with the boys, they actually are way more well behaved than if both of us are there. It's like Knox is very easily stimulated by like a lot of action and stuff like that. So it works well for us if one of us leaves the situation.
See, my kids know when I'm alone. And I feel like that's when they're like, get her.
Yeah.
I just want to add to that, like an in the moment type of thing that has helped until now. I don't know if it'll continue to help or whatever, but is getting outside, like as quickly, as reasonably as we can, just changing the environment. And we've taken a lot of walks. There have been many, many, many walks in our life so far. Stroller walks, wagon walks, walks, all the walks, because that seems to just diffuse the situation for the both of us. It has helped me a lot, and I think it helps her. And then the other part is like as much as you can is the like preemptive side of it, where if I can make sure that I'm getting some sleep, or that I got some time to myself, or that I am not hangry, or like as much as I can staying on top of those things, the chances of my fuse getting like so short that I'll lose it are a lot smaller. So knowing that like, hey, those things are really important for me so that I can show up and handle the meltdown in the bathtub or whatever it is.
I got something to add to this a little bit. One, I want to say, I heard you say, I'm guilty of this. Like, who's not guilty? So we don't even need to use the word, I'm guilty of having a meltdown as a mom. No, you're being real. Like, that's real life. Every mom, every parent is going to have a moment where it feels like things are out of control. So no guilt on that. That's real. And Carolina, what I love about you taking Callie for walks is that's like showing her like how to diffuse her own emotions. Cause that would be the thing that I finally like learned going through the parenting is like, and still now, I don't want my kids to think that they shouldn't have a meltdown. The same way that I would say, Molly, it's okay if you have a bad day and have a meltdown as a mom. I want my kids to know there's going to be things that happen that, yes, that trigger them into some sort of tantrum. Of course, some tantrums, yes, like it's obnoxious and you have to deal with it. But also, like the getting down on their level, giving them some sort of tool to be like, what would help you right now? You know, like, let's go for a walk. And also, at the very end of the day going, it's okay if you are the one that needs to walk away. Because I think a lot of times, as moms or parents, we tend to think if our kid is crying and if our kid is having this issue, I have to do something to fix it. And that leads into all of these things of like, it's my responsibility to make sure that they're okay at all times. And then you start to lose track of yourself. And I mean, that's a slippery slope there. But remembering if your kid is crying and you need to separate yourself from them because they just need to have a minute in their room by themselves, it's okay. Because you taking that minute for yourself is as important to stay for you to recharge and reset to be able to help them through the minute that they're having.
My favorite now is Knox will say things to Banner that we say to him. So he'll be like, Banner, use your words. And he's like yelling at him. He'll be like, Banner, do your breaths, do your breathing. That's so funny.
Oh, use your words. My favorite. I don't understand whining is literally a word that I used for years with my kids. I don't understand that language, the whining language.
All right, Molly, we have a nutrition question. How do you start to balance or change your postpartum template as the baby starts to nurse less and less and is more into solids than breast milk?
I mean, it's still important to keep your calories up because I would assume that now that your baby is into solids, you're probably starting to increase your workout volume as well as your intensity. I mean, depends on where you're at in your postpartum journey. So it is, I always tread very lightly when a mom is still breastfeeding because calories are super important to support you, your recovery, as well as your supply. So we tend to recommend to continue with the templates until, you know, if you're down to like maybe one feeding a day, then we have those recommendations on how to adjust your template with reducing a few things as well as your fat and switching to the general food chart. But my piece of advice would be to continue with where you're at for now. And I think once you get to like maybe 1 to 2 feedings a day, then you can reach out to us and we can provide you with that information.
Miranda, what is the one thing you wish you had known before pregnancy and parenthood?
Yeah, you prepped us. You let us know about this question in advance. So I thought about it earlier today. And the biggest thing that I wish I would have known is how much I would feel like I have dual personalities as a human being after becoming a mom. There are moments / days, even weeks sometimes where I wish I was a stay-at-home mom and I am at Starbucks working or shopping at Target and I see moms with their kids during the daytime and I get extremely jealous. Or I feel anxiety, like I should be the one with my kids all day long. Like I have so much I want to teach them and so much I want to show them. And they have fantastic care. They're with Julian's mom. I mean, they couldn't be with anyone better. It's their own grandma, you know? But I really struggle with that. And I never would have thought that that would be true for me. I have always been the person with a job plus like 3 other side random things that I'm doing and like 17 Instagram accounts and like with a new idea. I mean, everyone's laughing because they know I come in here with like these ideas all the time. my entire adult life, I haven't had like weekends because I've been working every single weekend and then doing all the stuff during the week. And that's just been me since I was a very little kid. And so I thought that I would be totally fine with like, yeah, like Lucy watches them and then I put them to bed and we wake up and we have breakfast. But I really struggle with going back and forth on where my passion is, and I don't know that that's ever going to change, and I think it's good. I'm glad that it's like that, but I wasn't prepared for how hard the mom pull would be for me.
All right, this one is for Kim. My oldest boy is turning 11. How do you face changing hormones with tweens?
Good luck with that one.
Yes. Good luck indeed. I think it was jarring to definitely have this child. I mean, for our first, we were like, what happened? Like our even killed child, all of a sudden, it was all of these things. Yeah, just it was unexpected to see some of the change happening with him. So for us, I think it was a bit of a just making sure for myself not to take things personally, which I don't often do, but it's hard when it's your kid and you have poured so much of your life and your love into your children and you see them reflecting you and those things. And so to recognize what they're going through and the moods or the words or whatever it is that makes them feel so foreign to you at that time, it's not because you're failing, it's because it's a natural growth phase. The same way that you would look at, you know, a 6-month-old or even a 3-week-old or a 2-year-old and go, hey, they're growing, their brain is developing. Things are it's literally science that's happening as their brain is shedding layers. And so it makes them a little crazy. And so just to hang in there, to not take things personal, make sure you make time for yourself, to reset, to step away, and continue to say to them, and this is what I would always try to, at the end of every day, say to my child, I love you no matter what. I love you no matter what. And that a lot of times was for me the reminder of, I love you no matter how much of you're being right now, or what you said, or the way you're acting. So that was a big part of it for me.
Molly, do you have any tips? Like, okay, so Mindy Ann says, I love bowl life, but it can be hard with a 1-year-old. Do you have any food ideas for little hands?
I mean, it depends on your kid. Like, I'll be totally honest. Max's majority of his food is whole foods, and then we do incorporate some of your typical like snacks, chips, crackers, things like that on occasion. But I would say like we just have the bowl kind of options, and we just serve them not in a bowl. So when things are mushed together, like if you think of like a bowl or a casserole, they have a really hard time with those types of foods. They have to be kind of separated. And then slowly over time, you can start to blend them together and they get more comfortable with it. So almost taking like what you would put in a bowl. Like, so for Max, if I make a bowl and I have, you know, rice and chicken and veggies and avocado, I do the similar thing for him, but I just kind of put it into different portions on a plate. Sometimes he eats vegetables. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes we go 3 weeks without eating a vegetable. I offer it. I put it on the plate. I don't force any foods on him. So I don't ever take the approach of like, you have to eat this in order to get more of this. I just serve it to him. Fruits are a really good thing for kids. Like we spend so much money in fruit, but it's something that's simple. It's healthy and it's what he enjoys. He'll eat a lot of. I don't stress on it. So like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, apples, we always have those in the fridge. He loves like deli meat. We keep some cheese in the fridge, like easy stuff like that to kind of chop up and just kind of put it on we call it a snack platter. Do you have any tips?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Banny, because he just turned 1, he eats, last night his dinner was ground turkey, which was like, he has like 6 teeth. So it also depends on how many teeth your 1-year-old has. Ground turkey in small enough chunks, but he could still grab it. Little cubed sweet potatoes that were cooked. Small pieces of avocado that he could pick up and put in his mouth, and then some blackberries. And same thing, we like separate him on his plate. And Banner will eat anything. There's a really cool recipe that we did a long time ago for Knox's pancakes, which are delicious, but it's got like eggs and banana and that kind of stuff in there. So you're getting protein and stuff, but it tastes like a pancake. Those always are a hit for both boys for us.
Are any of your guys' children picky eaters or have gone through a picky eater phase? And if so, do you have any tips for that?
I have one. My youngest is very particular still, and he's 10, so he's got all your kids. And so for him, thankfully, he's at a stage too where I can tell him like, hey, this is the kind of food that you need. And so talking about like you need this food as fuel. And so if you're not going to eat the dinner that I make, you at least have to have some sort of protein, some sort of veg. You have to have some fruit or something that's going to get you some carb, like in a healthy sort of way. And I don't know the age of your kids that's picky. And also you have to help make it. So, you know, like I totally understand there's going to be food aversions and things like that. But for me, being able to just like, I'm not going to do multiple meals. That was something that I just decided very early on. Like, I'm not a multiple meal maker. And so if it means that you're going to have a bowl of cereal for dinner and you kind of get grumpy about it, like that's on you. I know that doesn't necessarily work when they're like 2 and 3, but nonetheless, saying here are your options and you can choose from these few things has helped alleviate some of that pickiness because he feels like he has the freedom to choose.
Yeah, and again, it depends on the age of your kid too. Like to speak to a toddler, they're going to go through different phases, and part of it is them just learning like boundaries and kind of seeing where they can push you. And you know, there is foods they're going to gravitate to more. So if you can offer the foods for sure that you know that they'll eat, so they'll obviously be getting some nutrients and some calories in them, and then continuing to offer food. So you again, what I have found helpful with Max is I don't force any foods on him. I put him on the plate, and he sometimes picks them up, puts them in his mouth, spits them out. Sometimes he eats them, but keep putting the food in front of your kid. They should get like 20 plus 50, exposures to it. Like just keep putting it in front of them. Smoothies are a great option if you have a kid that struggles with certain foods. That's a great way for you to sneak more protein in as well as veggies. You can even do that like with the pancakes. We have the Hulk pancakes. Like I know a ton of our members make those for their kids. They call them Max would love it, Hulk smash pancakes, so you can find some sneaky ways to kind of get it in there.
Knox is not a big eater. I wouldn't say that he's picky on what he'll eat, but it's hard sometimes to get him to start eating. And we know that he's hungry because he's being cranky. Sometimes we have to like bribe him a little bit, but as soon as we get him to take a bite, he'll be in it and he'll eat. But that's like been our biggest struggle with him is just getting him to start eating and focus for long enough to eat.
Carolina, I have like a 3-part question for you.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Leah didn't know about her diastases until her daughter was almost 1 year old. She's 9 now, and she still has a 2-finger gap. She notices with core movements the strain around the midline and her lower back, so she has this 3-part question. 1, is it too late to work on it? 2, should she start modifying movements instead of going all out? And 3, does she need to start from the very beginning of the postpartum program, or can she modify it?
Okay, so will you start with the first
Sure.
question?
Her daughter's now 9. She has a 2-finger gap, and she was wondering if it's too late to start working on it.
No, definitely not. And also, a 2-finger separation is not necessarily a problem. For a lot of people, the abdominals will never, well, for everyone, they'll never be fully back together. And it's less about how wide that separation is and more about the quality of the tissue that is between the abdominal muscles and your ability to manage the way that your core functions with whatever separation you might have. But it sounds like she has some lower back pain and strain in the core. So it sounds like the way that she's learned to manage it isn't really working anymore. The core rehab program is a great place to start. But I would say I would love to talk to her more one-on-one. And that's where I would always recommend that she can reach out to me, and then I can help figure out what's going to be the most appropriate place for her to start. It might be with me, it might be with the core rehab program, it might be with a specialist, because the core rehab program is awesome, but it's going to feel like taking a step way back, which I know is really hard for some people. So the way that it was designed to be used is in its entirety. So all 4 weeks, all 4 sessions, and by itself. So not like after you do the regular daily workout or before you go do a shift workout, which is really hard for a lot of people to commit to. So I get that. And I would be totally down to help her find the right way to get to where she wants to go.
Perfect. I will give you her information after. This question is for all of you guys. Do you have any tips for a non-epidural delivery?
I mean,
Uh,
want me to go?
no,
Okay.
I actually so I've done it twice. I did a not home birth, birthing center with Knox, which was out of the hospital, close to a hospital with midwives. And then with Banner, he was born in our bathtub at our house. And I would say the first experience, like, number one, if this is your first baby and your first natural birth, there is nothing that you can do that is going to fully prepare you. And you just need to know that, like, I don't care how many podcasts you've listened to. First of all, the videos that they show you of the women in your classes, that's not what it's really like. At least that's not what it was like for me. I mean, the video that they showed me was like some woman like washing her clothes in a stream while she was in labor. And I was like, oh, that looks nice. Like she's on a walk with her family. Like, no. Like that actually was a disservice to show me this peaceful woman washing her clothes in the stream. So nothing can prepare you. There's no plan that you can have that's going to go perfectly. Like, I don't care what scent your candles are and what playlist you have. Like it's not going to feel the way that you expect it to feel. But, and I think knowing that going into it is actually helpful. Like, knowing that it's going to be different than anything you could expect. At least that's helpful for me. I listened to, for the second one, I'm in my car a lot or walking a lot and stuff. So I listened to the Bradley Method book, and I'm a very physical person, and I like to picture things. Now, obviously, I can just, Nicole's face back there is like, what? No, but in the Bradley Method book, they talk about what's happening inside your body and how the muscles are moving and how they're reacting and what's actually happening with each contraction. And so for me, that was really helpful, because I don't know if it's just because I'm a coach and I've been like, I'm super interested in how the body works. That helped me because I could like picture that happening with each contraction, as opposed to like my body attacking me, which is what I felt when I was in labor with Knox. I could not relax. My labor was not progressing for a really long time, because the other thing, if you're a street parking member and anyone tries to tell you, oh my gosh, you're in such good shape, that means your labor is going to be super easy, that is a effing lie. Like, that is not scientifically proven. That is not true. Everybody's different. Some people have, easier labors and some people. For me, that was not true at all whatsoever. And so, yeah, but the Bradley Method book would be my biggest tip for somebody who's trying to do a natural birth. Molly, go for it.
Yeah, so with both of I had a hospital delivery for both my children. I ended up actually getting Pitocin with both of my kids. Indy was fully induced, and for other reasons with Max. But I fully came to the point where I was like, I think I need that epidural. Let's talk about it. So I think like it's really important to lay out the things for you and what you want your birth plan. Like Miranda was saying, like you have some things, but like be okay with it changing. Like, cause you cannot control the situation as much as you want to control it. You can't. And it doesn't matter the amount of workouts you do or, mental toughness or anything like that. Like you have to be okay with surrendering to the process. And that really helped me the second time with Indy. But in both situations, I called it and was like, I think I need that epidural. Let's talk about that. And the second time I actually did better because I had less people in the room. The type of person that I am, I worry about everyone else around me and not myself. So due to COVID, I could actually only have my husband in the room. The time before, I actually had my good friend with me, my best friend, and not this best friend, another one, my mom.
Excuse me, what?
My mom and my good friend who's a labor and delivery nurse. And I found more success the second time with having less people in the room. So those of you guys that are still in high COVID restrictions, like, births can still go well with that. But I'd say be okay with the plan changing. And if you end up getting the epidural, you didn't fail at all. Like at all. If that's what you need and that's what happens, you end up having a C-section, whatever it is, like you and baby safe is what matters. And don't ever feel like you're a failure if that's the route that you take. So I just say, be okay. One more point. When you think, Miranda told me this, when you think you're not going to be able to make it in birth is usually when you're really close.
Yeah, that's what they teach in the book. Is like there's like a moment where typically is where people are like, I can't do this anymore, is right when you're about to like turn the corner and it's almost going to be time for you to push. And that's the kind of like stuff that I learned in that book, which was really helpful for me to know beforehand. And I think like Molly is saying, like when you become a parent, you learn really soon that if you don't set boundaries around like your child and your family and your space, that people will kind of like violate, and they like people want to come over like the same day to see the baby or the next day. And for some people that's totally fine and they're into it. I'm not like that at all. And so you might be in a situation where it's hard for you to tell your own mom or your mother-in-law, like, hey, like I don't really want you in the room during the birth, but like you're going to have to start doing stuff like that because it's how parenting is like forever. And it's this birth is about you and your partner if that person's involved and your baby, and that's it. That immediate little
and you
crew.
can have people there too. Like what really helped me actually ended up being my labor and delivery nurse the second time. You know, she reminded me what my goal was in my birth, and she just said, just give me another 20 minutes and we can talk about the epidural. And then sure enough, I ended up having Indy. So you can have people around you to remind you what your goal is and remind you that you're in a space that's okay. But again, do what's best for you.
I have a funny story. Actually, during the birth of Knox, I was like that and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Julian asked the midwives to leave. And he literally, like he was like my football coach, was like, you can do this. He was like, you don't let them think that you can't do this. And like, I was like, oh my God, you have no idea what you're saying to me right now. But that was pretty funny.
Okay, Kim, this one's for you. My lanky tween is interested in working out for the first time ever, but I'm not sure where to start, especially with form coaching. The kiddo isn't always interested in correction or feedback from his boring mom, particularly after a year of distance learning. Any tips?
I do have some tips on that. First of all, I don't know if the person's a street parking member or not. If they are a street parking member, we do have a whole section on the members only website dedicated to movement for kids. So the street parking kids is in our Did You Know section and resources. So that has examples of how with street parking workouts, you can basically make any workout just like we do as the adults when we talk about customizing and fitness freedom. Take that same approach with your kid. So if he wants to start working out, find the movements that you would look at him and think he's going to do that well, and give him the option to do those things. So for instance, my middle, he was not interested in working out at all for years. And then he figured out, it was actually at a street parking meetup that we had over here at a park, that he liked jumping. So of all the things, he liked box jumps. And so finding the movements that your child wants to do is a huge part of helping them stay like in it and stay encouraged, and then helping them like just get familiar with what moving feels like. So if it's some box jumps or, jumping onto a step or something like that, or jumping over things, then you can help kind of show them, be like, now, do you want me to show you something else? So that way they feel like they have a choice in it a little bit, rather than just trying to be like, this is what you need to do, and this is how you need to move, and this is the workout. Go with the customizing, go with the fitness freedom, the same way that we do those things. Get them excited about that, make them feel like they have the choice, and then use that resource we have that shows like the age appropriate ways to customize things. Like I actually was really strict with my kids. Like, I really don't want you trying to use a barbell unless I'm around. I love that you want to like get comfortable with the equipment and all of that, but if you want to use a barbell, you're going to have to listen to me on it first and let me show you a few things. So a little bit of negotiating, even though it was more like just setting a boundary, right? And so I would just say, let them find the things that they want to do and encourage them, because when a kid is feeling empowered and encouraged and they're feeling good about themselves, they're going to be that much more responsive to feedback from mom telling them what they need to do.
Carolina, this one is for you from Rebecca and the Mama's Facebook group. She's asking for suggestions for ways to balance her hormones postpartum after completing the breastfeeding journey. That would be super helpful.
Great question. And that is not like my specialty. So what I normally do is suggest people reach out to their healthcare provider, to a functional medicine doctor, and within the SP Mamas team, Kim Perez, she's over on the East Coast, but that's a lot of what she does, and Dr. Erica Boland. So there are specialists that we can connect you with that can help you dive deeper into that, because it might involve like blood tests. It might involve navigating like your sleep patterns, the stress you have in your life. One of the resources that was really helpful to me in just understanding how many different factors and variables there are in balancing your hormones is a book called The Postnatal Depletion Cure. I've mentioned it a few times in the moms group, but that it kind of breaks down all of the different hormones and what they're doing and how they can impact your body, your brain, and when they are not in balance, some of the symptoms and signs to look out for. And then that way you can, know that it's not just something that you have to like struggle with or struggle through, that something might need looking at a little bit more.
Miranda, what's your I would never let my kids do that thing you said before kids that makes you laugh the most now?
Well, Knox is, he likes to just take his clothes off and pee, like in the backyard, front yard. I don't know that I ever said, here's the thing. I don't have a long history pre-kids of planning to have kids. So I don't know that there were a lot of those thoughts that entered my mind. Knox was not planned. And I had started considering having children maybe only like a year before that. So I don't know that I spent a lot of time as a youth or like a person in my 20s thinking like I would never let my kids do that. Most of the stuff is probably going to be stuff of when they're older, because I might have been a very easy child, but my brothers, on the other hand, many of the things that they did growing up, I've thought like, how could my parents ever let them do that? And now I have 2 boys, so here we go.
Yikes. Kim, same question.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say it's currently and has been for a while, and I think it's probably true of this generation, is screen time. Like, I mean, you can have all the ideas in the world, and I know people out there that have this like magical ability to have like limits with their kids and screen time. I tried that, my husband and I. Oh my gosh, we've tried all the things, but it's definitely like, oh, my kid's only gonna get 30 minutes of screen time every day, or things like that. That was a joke.
Here's the thing about the screens, okay? Your child he lives in a world of, or she lives in a world of screens. So we do try to keep the boys off of it as much as, especially mindless stuff, like really annoying cartoons that have no like moral story, and they're not even like beautifully drawn and with good music and things like that. Like you're getting nothing out of
Just
that.
wait till they get to YouTube and
Oh,
watching.
I mean, I know what
watch
Elliot's watching over here
games.
all day. Just kidding. We have a 13-year-old in the office here with us lately. So we try to, at least if they're watching television, we try to like put on like a good like Disney movie with good music and, effects and things like that. And then Knox has an iPad that he has actually learned a lot from. Like Knox has a huge vocabulary. He is very smart, and he will get into a game that teaches him his ABCs and be super into it. And like, meanwhile, I get to get a little bit of work done, or I can clean, or Julian's cooking breakfast or whatever. And it's like, do we have them on the screen when we're like out trying to eat lunch as a family? No, we avoid that, as much as possible. And they get super annoying, and we're fighting that. And that's something new for us. But not all screen time is created equal, I don't think. And also, Knox has a huge imagination that comes from the shows that he watches. He goes outside and he pretends to be these characters, and he's like in this whole world. And obviously you can have a big imagination where stuff just comes up on your own from reading books and things like that. But I don't know that it's all bad. And I think it gets a much worse rap than it needs to. And I think if it's controlled, like for us, there have been huge benefits to doing it as well.
Molly, do you have any tips for someone, like, for example, Adam's away for 48 hours at a time easily. Fire season
2
comes
weeks, 48
around,
hours. What's the
and
difference?
it's weeks
48
at a
hours.
time. Do you have any tips for the people that are doing a single parenting or?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is recognizing all the things that you are doing, right? Because what I try to like realize is like when my husband's gone, like I am the person in the morning that makes the breakfast, that packs the lunch, that gets the dress. I'm there for when they hurt themselves, when they have their tantrums, for everything, right? So you have to recognize all the things that you're doing with your kid when it's just you, and all the things that you're managing, the laundry and the cooking and everything, because it's a lot. And realizing that having a smaller to-do list will allow you to feel more successful with your day. So I find that I am a worse parent when I have a lot to do and I stress on the things I can't get to because my kids need me, whether it's work or, you know, going someplace where I'm supposed to meet somebody, whatever it is. So having a smaller to-do list and I guess less expectations for your day can be really, really helpful when you're doing it alone. For me personally, I lean into my family a lot. I live by my two sisters, my mom and my brother and dad. So, and my mother-in-law is great. So I really lean into my family for support. So I would say if you don't have family around you, find a good mom group that you can get a good tribe to lean into for support, to get together for play dates or swap dinners or get together for dinner. You know, oftentimes when I'm having a day with my kids, I pack them up and take them to my mom's farm and they can run and play and she gets to hang with them and I get a little bit of a breather. But I think the biggest thing for me is the smaller to-do list and recognizing all the plates that you're keeping in the air by yourself has been really helpful.
Nice. I have a question from an expecting mother. Said that she would like to hear some more insight into the postpartum bundle. So I'll toss this one to you, Carolina. She's hoping to have it gifted to her in December when her baby's born.
Yay! Congrats, by the way. It's so exciting. So the postpartum bundle was basically, the intention behind it is to give new moms a tool to help them transition from pregnancy and birth back to street parking programming, or to street parking programming if they haven't been a member before. So that includes everything from the immediate postpartum period, where it is not about exercise, where it is about resting. So I think this is like my favorite part, but I think maybe one of the most challenging parts is the first 4 weeks of the bundle is a program that's called the Recovery Program, and that's actually already available on the members only website. And it's 2 sessions a week. And the very first session is literally just lying down in bed and breathing for 10 minutes. But the magic behind that, not the magic, the science behind it, is that the breathing helps to connect you to your core and is helpful for healing physically and emotionally and for starting that recovery process. So those first 4 weeks are like really gentle, and it's mostly just about how to rest but still feel like you're doing something. So there's really cool tips from Miranda and Molly in there that are like, hey guys, I see you. I know you really want to get to shift workouts right now, but like just hang in there for a little longer. Or Molly saying like, hey guys, I know you want to dive into template right now, but like, why don't you just focus on getting 3 meals a day, or like drinking enough water today, or whatever. So I love that part. Because I think so much of the early postpartum period can sometimes feel so isolating. You might be surrounded by a lot of people, but somehow it's like, I'm so disconnected from my community or the things that felt so familiar before. And then the next part is the core rehab program. And I love it because we took actual street parking shift programming, and then broke it down and scaled it, customized it, and combined it with rehabilitative movements so that you get to not start just doing a burpee, but you're doing a kneeling burpee from your shins or without the push-up. And then the next week you progress, and then so on. So you are gently introducing more demand on your core while you rehab, and you also get to do a little bit of maintenance. And then the last part is the rebuild guide, where it's like, hey, what happens now? So after you complete the rehab program, is it just jumping back into running? Is it diving into the endurance program full on? Is it, what does it look like? So this has a timeline for the rest of the first year postpartum it's very general, but it can show you how you can break down, again, real samples of street parking workouts, and how to slowly and gradually progress over that first year.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
It's awesome.
Yay. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the biggest mistake that people make, and this is kind of like for everything that we've been talking about, whether it's pregnancy and your fitness during pregnancy, or how your pregnancy goes, or how much weight you gain during pregnancy, or how big your baby is versus how big someone else's baby is, or how your birth goes, to, well, this person postpartum at 6 weeks was doing this and this, but I'm at 6 weeks and I'm still only doing this, or like my teenagers are out of control and Kim's teenagers are freaking awesome, or whatever. I think the biggest thing, biggest problem that moms have is the comparison to each other. I mean, people in general, but especially in the mom community, it can be a really negative path to go down. And what we encourage in the street parking community, or just as you're like following people on Instagram or whatever, you can use people for inspiration, get ideas from people, ask advice, but know that the journey, I hate using that word. I don't know why I hate it when people use the word journey. Know that the path, your path is different, completely different than anyone else's. And you as a mom, the earlier that you can like tune into that like innate, like I can feel what's right for me and my child and my family, the better off that you're going to be. And try not to compare yourself. I mean, I even compare myself to Molly. So I'm like, she's freaking crushing me in workouts and her baby's 4 months younger than mine. You know what I mean? It's really hard. We all do it.
Social media can be helpful and it cannot be helpful.
Yeah. So try to recognize when you're gaining inspiration and advice and ideas versus comparing, and really combat the desire to do that in all stages of mom life and just in life.
Yeah, I'll definitely just add to that like our priority with like everything that we do with street parking is trying to keep it simple, trying to provide people with tools and resources. By no means am I ever going to say that this program is going to be the answer to everything. I also think that some people are just going to want to do their own thing, or they want to see someone one-on-one, or they might need to see someone one-on-one. What I do think that this program does is offers a way to help keep them connected to what feels good and what feels familiar. So you're not just like, I had a baby, I'm trying to start feeling like myself, but I have to go to this other thing, this outside source that feels so foreign. Our videos, the language, the format, all of that will hopefully feel familiar. It'll feel like home. So there's something that feels like consistent during that time that could be kind of crazy.
And our thing is always like, we're going to come at you with the best of intentions and try to cut through all the BS that you guys are going to see out there, whether it's just in fitness in general or the postpartum recovery process, and give you the best advice that we can give you based on the expertise of the people that put it together. It's awesome. So yeah, I think that's all the time we have for questions today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, this Mama's episode of the Street Parking Coaches Roundtable. We'll be back in 2 weeks with episode number 19. And if you guys this is usually Julian's line. If you guys liked this episode, make sure that you share it with your friends, your other mama friends or relatives, and keep chatting away with us in the Mamas group and on Instagram and sending us your questions, and we'll try to help you out as much as possible. Bye. Oh, smash.
You have what it takes to be a street parking vault finisher?
For the past 6 months, the Street Parking members have been participating in a 1 workout a week for 25 weeks series. The new workout is released every Friday, and they have until the following Thursday to log their results.
The street parking vault is a challenge that isn't about the leaderboard or a competition. It's about building consistency. Scores do not matter, and you are encouraged to do any variation of the workout that works for you. You just cannot miss.
Over 5,000 Street Parking members have completed the first 25 workouts in round 1 this year, and the workouts are about to reset. Round 2 starts July 2nd.
Now, new members have their chance to show their commitment and jump in time to complete all 25 workouts.
All of these workouts can be done with just a pair of dumbbells and have options for any fitness level. Now, of course, if you have more equipment, you're gonna get variations of the workout that work for that too.
Now, these workouts are simple, but they are not easy, and you have to be committed to finishing all 25.
Are you in?